Throughout the year, I've been releasing a number of guitar tips as shorts, and this is the best of them. Best as in the ones that people watch the most. So here's a rundown from 10 to the best of my top 10 tips of the year. Enjoy. Another diamond guitar tip from Guitars Are Hard. You used the right pick thickness. For ages, I used this really quite thin one, but I found I had trouble in that I was losing it and dropping it. So I bought these ones, which, if you can see that, have a grip on them. Bought 3 different sizes, so this is 0.73, and I bought right up to double that to see if that would cure it. I even bought, a bit of a Marty McFly lead guitarist from the 80s moment, a metal pick for when you really have to dig in playing those solos. What I've lately found is that that is my preferred size, which is a 0.81. I found this out just by buying packs of multi-size picks, which compared to your guitar and your amp cost nothing. So try it. You could be using the wrong size pick. Simple as that. Hello, another diamond tip from Darren White at Guitars Are Hard. Your pick, are you holding it right? I've seen a lot of people holding it like I am now, with their thumb and their finger sort of parallel and a lot of pick sticking out. That's totally wrong. What you have to do is put your fingers almost at a right angle to each other. So there's the bottom of it, and then bring the thumb over the top. Have it at a sort of right angle to where your thumb is. Also, only need a little bit of that pick sticking out. That way you'll get a better grip on it. It's all you need. You won't lose it, it won't fly away. So that finger down, that finger across. That's how a guitar pick should be held. Another diamond guitar tip. Even as a beginner, you need to know how chords are formed. Take a major chord. A major chord is made up of a root note, which gives its name, the third whole note, or third whole interval, and the fifth whole note, or fifth interval. Let's look at a G. There's a G, so that's the root. We count 5 along. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is a B. We then count another 3, because remembering there's sharps and flats in between. 5, 6, 7, 8, and the 10th fret is a D. So let's see if that's right. So we go back to our open G chord. Let's look at the fingers. So the first string at the top we're holding there is the G. That's the root, that gives it its name. The second string there is a B, and then behind that, as we know, playing that open, that's a D note on that open D string. And there is the 3 notes that make up the chord. Here's another diamond tip. Always keep your right hand moving. Don't wait until your left hand has formed the chord. People won't notice if you get it a bit wrong first time. They'll think it's some sort of neat transition, but they will notice if you stop in the middle of the rhythm and wait for your fingers to form the chord. So just keep that hand moving. Here's another diamond tip from Guitars Are Hard. Let me show you some bad technique that I do all the time, and it is not anchoring your pick hand on the guitar body or on the scratch plate. So you'll see me do this all the time. So especially when I'm playing solo, you'll often see me with one or more fingers on the guitar body like this. That's all wrong. What you should be doing is having that completely separate, so you can go from picking to strumming if you. So what you should be doing is much more. The hand wasn't on the guitar at all. Here's another diamond tip from Guitars Are Hard. Play simplified versions of chords. I'm forming the open C major here, which is quite tricky to get to, I find sometimes. But do you need all these notes? As we know, a major chord is made up of the root, the C, the third and the fifth. Well, in that case, these are C, E, open G, C, open E. But what's happening there is that we've got C, E, G, third, we've got the root, the third and the fifth. The rest of it's just repeated. So we could just play those three notes and we get the same chord, which is a lot easier if, say, you're coming from the A. If you're coming from, say, the D. Make life simple for yourself. Hi, another diamond tip here from Guitars Are Hard. Chord diagrams that show you which fingers to put on which strings aren't written in stone. You can do what you want. So while this is seen as an A major, you don't have to use those three fingers. I've seen lots of people who bar two strings with one and then play another finger like this. I play it as a bar of the whole thing. Whatever gets you to the next chord fastest. Here's another diamond guitar tip from Guitars Are Hard. You might not be at this stage yet because it's pretty intermediate, but when you're barring, that is holding down lots on most strings, maybe an F or maybe a B, or even mini ones in that I often kind of bar an A. One of the things to bear in mind is don't use the softest part of your finger, especially not the crease in the joint. What you actually need to do is use the hardest part on the side. You'll be able to play for a lot longer until the pain stops you. I'm in love with this guitar. One thing I hear a lot from people is they've got the wrong size hands for playing guitars. I have teeny tiny hands. I've also heard people say that their hands are too big. Look for other ways of holding those strings down. Sometimes you can't get all three fingers in. Sometimes one can do it. Sometimes you can do it with two. This is one time when size does not matter. Here's another diamond tip from Guitars Are Hard. Remember to play with your fingertips and not other parts. And also, play till your fingers bleed sounds cool, but it's not something you want to do. What might happen is, because that finger's used for virtually every chord, you might find it gets too painful. Well, there's nothing to stop you moving along and using the next two fingers to give that one a bit of a rest. Don't ignore pain, especially any nerve or muscular or tendon pain.